Yo, what's going on? This is your boy RJ Game News USA here, back today with another video, and today we are going to discuss what the hell is going on at Xbox. We have more confirmations of layoffs and a super disturbing story involving Game Pass, where they're no longer really in talks with third-party publishers for bringing more games to Game Pass, which is not good at all. It really hurts the subscription base if you're not adding third-party games anymore. So we got to discuss this. We're going to watch this clip from Dreamcast Guy, and we will react and discuss. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe.
Hey there, gamers, Dreamcast Guy here. Today we're talking about the death of Xbox because something very weird has just happened. It's actually a two-pronged thing, which is first and foremost, Xbox is basically begging people to actually buy games, because right now it is very well known, with all the studio closures, with all the gutting, with all the crazy fires and stuff, Xbox is currently just shutting down in a major way, and a lot of that comes down to the failure of Xbox Game Pass. For the last 10 years,
Look, Game Pass was a good deal, man. When I first signed up for my Xbox, you got it $1 for 3 months. And I knew even then, I'm like, this is not sustainable. This will not last forever. It was a fun ride. I did switch over to PlayStation, though, due to the lack of exclusives for Xbox, due to the lack of being able to stream on YouTube, and the fact that the PS5 actually had some exclusives I enjoyed. So, and of course, my Nintendo Switch 2 as well. So that being said, Xbox, they had me. I had over 85,000 gamer score. I tried every Game Pass game they had. I was living pretty much lunch free over there. But they kept raising the price. Eventually got greedy, got up to $30, and they had to strip Call of Duty out of it. Apparently that's not all they're stripping, though.
I have been very vocally against this expensive experiment by Team Green, where Xbox has been saying, don't buy games ever. Just get Game Pass. It doesn't matter if you have Game Pass on your phone or your TV or you have it on the console itself. Doesn't matter. Just get Game Pass. And what this trained people to do is never buy games ever. And you can look at the numbers, right? It's not just that the Xbox console is extremely dead.
I bought so little games for Xbox. If I found out a game wasn't on Game Pass, I just didn't play it.
It is the fact that straight up people don't buy anything, even big AAA stuff. There is no point even bother putting a game on Xbox, because even when they do, Final Fantasy's everything, first party, third party, nothing at all sells on Xbox, and I feel like that's because of their marketing. Well, they've started to just straight up beg people, please buy the new Call of Duty, because it is not on Game Pass. Now I want to break that down, and also there is an extra wrinkle to this, which is that Game Pass has always been first party and third party, that Xbox themselves actually approaches indie developers and Ubisoft and stuff, all sorts of different people, and says, hey, can you put your games on Game Pass? Booster the value of it. Apparently, they've stopped. They have officially told all developers, we're not putting anything new on Xbox Game Pass ever again. Let's break this down, because...
See, so that means basically, if that's true, and that even includes indies, does that mean all you're getting on Game Pass is the first-party Xbox games? And if that's true, how many of them do you actually need in order for Game Pass to be worth your while? Because Game Pass is $22 a month, and so 3 months of that is $66. So you need at least one $70 game to come out every 3 months that you want. That you want is the key phrase. This is going to kill Game Pass. Game Pass is going to have so few new entries. Right? I mean, so that's not great.
Because honestly, this is definitely the end period to Xbox. Let's get into it. I hope you're having a great day, if you could. Now, when Asha Sharma took over at Xbox, one of the first things she did was lower the price of Game Pass. But removed Call of Duty from the service. And they basically explicitly said, like, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for $70 billion. And when that happened, they basically admitted the fact that ever since then, Call of Duty has not sold at all. The sales of Call of Duty have gotten apocalyptically bad. But what is the problem is that it's not just, hey, Activision Blizzard is not able to sell games for the first time ever. It's that Call of Duty was made to be the money maker. Call of Duty was supposed to be the easy W, the giant profit printing machine. So when other Game Pass games didn't do as well, it still break even. When instead what this did is Game Pass drug down Call of Duty somehow. It actually stopped the sales of Call of Duty.
Well, yeah, pay $70 or pay monthly. You know, a lot of people probably signed up for Game Pass, checked out COD, saw it was shitty because it was Black Ops 7, and then unsubbed.
For the first time ever. And now they're starting to be this. Xbox is reportedly pausing third-party Game Pass deals, developers say. Okay, so what's the mission here, right? Close a bunch of first-party studios, pause deals with third parties. What are you going to do to add additions to the service? I'm sure this will definitely help those Game Pass numbers. Now, we've been talking about this. The numbers of Game Pass are going down, down, down.
Yeah.
Subscription services, game sales, console.
Now they're going to go down even more. Because, like, yeah, the hardware is going down. You're closing studios. Right? You're freezing third-party deals. You're taking games that would have been on Game Pass off of Game Pass. What do you think's going to happen to the subscription numbers? Who's left? Who's left that would want to stay subscribed? It has to be a very specific kind of person that really feels like they're getting a full-price game they want every 3 months. And even then, it's a negligible difference. It's a difference of $4 between subscribing 3 months to Game Pass or buying a simple $70 game once in a 3-month span. What are the additions going to be? There's going to have more additions that will be coming to PlayStation Plus Extra. PlayStation Plus Extra, just by simply putting games on there a few years later, I got to play Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16. These were excellent games that are just a few years old. God of War Ragnarok, I think, was on there. A bunch of, Returnal was on there. There's a bunch of games. They just has to be a few years old. You have to let these games breathe and sell. Xbox, I hate to say it, they have to stop Game Pass altogether. They really do. Or Game Pass has to get even cheaper, and it has to remove the day one stuff. It really does. It needs to be at least a year after. Because you need those game sales. And you don't need to train people not to buy games. And you don't need to train people to wait a year to get a game for free, the subscription. So, in my opinion, it's probably best to nip it in the butt, right? I think PlayStation Premium's too expensive for what it offers. PlayStation Extra is a nice service. I think there's not much difference going on between the Game Pass, the second tier, and the Ultimate tier anymore. They've gotten confusing. Let's simplify shit. And let's reduce the cost. But yeah, this is really bad. If you like Game Pass, this is like horrendous news. I'll be curious to see what the additions will be for Game Pass going forward. And keep an eye on that compared to PlayStation Plus Extra. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Please comment down below what you think about this. Does Xbox freezing third-party deals for Game Pass make you not want to subscribe? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, this is your boy RJ signing out. Have a good one.